Good morning. My name's Ken Larson. I teach trumpet at the Interlochen Arts Academy. I'm a Los Angeles transplant where I worked as a trumpet player for about 25 years. And the views that I'm going to express today are neither the views of NTC, Interlochen, my wife. Things you got to understand is I think I'm funny, number one, and I probably am not, but I think I'm hysterical, so I hope I don't offend all of you. And if not, then, well, good, so much the better. I was raised, grab some propaganda on the way in, it may come in handy later. In those sheets, there is basically everything I know about the trumpet. You go to the YouTube videos, it'll explain things probably better than I'm going to explain to them this morning because, you know, the pressure's on because the cameras are up. So, the most important thing for me is finding a warm-up that works for you. So you're going to see in here a whole bunch of different things that I do. Now, try them. The most important thing is that you get something and you stick with it. We're going to start off with some stamp because I'm from LA. We did stamp. You're also going to see in there part of John Rommel's Atom routine, which I got from Charlie Davis when I was out in LA, that I use quite a bit of the time. I also use Jim Thompson's Buzzing Basics. If I have to work and I'm pressed for time, I always do stamp. Most of the times in the morning I'm on the exercise bike. Oh, Mr. Jorgensen, you need some propaganda? See, I love it when I know the people. Like I said, I think I'm funny. And so I will start in the morning on the bicycle doing Buzzing Basics with my iPod just to get the air going and whatnot. So what I teach my students and what I believe to be absolutely true is there's only three things that can go right or wrong. You can either, you need to hear it before you blow for it, so you hear it, blow for it, lip, tongue, jaw position. Vince Penzarella talks about 92% mental. So when I'm warming up, it's, excuse me, got fur in my mouth. When I'm warming up in the morning, I'm not necessarily, well, I'm not worried about the F word, yeah. The F word, the feel word. I don't give a crap how it feels. My colleagues in LA would on a daily basis remind me of the fact that the people paying for the ticket or the people that are recording you don't give a flying crap about how your face feels. So 92% mental. So if you adjust your mental capacity and realize that it's 92% in your head, 8% air, thank you Vince, and 2% lip, tongue, jaw position, then every day of your life you're going to be able to play to your full potential, you know, for that day. You're going to have better days and you're going to have worse days. I mean, when the trumpet works for me, and yes, I'm going to use the F word. Here's number one, my students over here. When it feels good and I can play right out of the gate, and I don't have a gig, I usually go fishing because my job for the day is done. Bob Reeves, when I lived in LA, said, all you have to do is make it work every day, Ken. And I go, well, how do I do that? Well, you just find something that works. Now, if you go today and you do this, and tomorrow you do that, and the next day you do the other thing, you got to give a warm-up or a routine 30 to 60 days of honest, you know, free form. You got to go after that routine to see how it works for you. So what I thought we would do is start with stamp. Now, stamp for me, I've been doing stamp since 1973. About every 5 to 10 years, I get better at doing stamp. My good friend, mentor, colleague, Roy Poper, who studied with Jimmy, shows me new stuff every time he comes up to Interlochen to visit, or stuff that I missed along the way. And I know from my students, when they go out and have a lesson with someone, I may preach to them, well, you got to do this, whatever, you know, X. And Michael Sachs says, hey, you need to do X. And all of a sudden they go, hey, Ken, I need to do X. Well, no kidding, you know. So you're ready to hear what you're ready to hear when you're ready to hear it. So we're going to do a little bit of free buzzing. Try it or not. I have nothing to gain or lose by this. The thing about free buzzing is that you want to make it as quiet as possible. Malcolm McNabb showed me how this works, and it took me another 7 years to figure out how to do it. And Roy told me a few years ago, the secret to lip buzzing is to simply put the tip of your tongue behind your lower lip, so you have some support out there. but I always start with the piano or some frame of reference because I'm warming up my mind. Whether or not my lips work, there's others. We'll see what happens. I haven't played yet, so. Can we all try and buzz that pitch? Good. Now, if you start with an open aperture, meaning your lips aren't touching, you're going to have issues playing softly. I mean, from my experience, again, I gave the disclaimer, but I'll give it one more time. This is what I've discovered in 48 years of playing the trumpet. What works for me. You have to discover what works for you. But I view the embouchure, oh yeah, here it comes, oh, sorry world, as a sphincter. It stays shut until I blow it open, and you can do whatever you want with that. So, the thing about doing stamp, yeah, good. The thing about doing stamp is all close intervals. The notes are always in the same place. Always in the same place. Here's the sensation in my lips. Yeah, I don't have to use my second F word for the day. From day to day varies depending on how much salt I had last night, how much I beat myself up. So buzzing the close intervals correctly are very important. So I just go. The next one's going to be. Ready? Good. I'm going to rest for a minute. Now, one of the Adam principles, and the reason those guys are so good, other than they practice about 4 hours a day doing this stuff, is the guys always practiced in pairs. One person would play it, whatever exercise, if it's long tones, whatnot, and listen to the other guy, and then he would play the exercise while the other guy rested. 50-50. You have to play as much as you rest. And it's really difficult when you get into the practice room to make yourself rest. So, sorry. Right? Good. And the final goal. Good. And so the goal is to make this sound like a mosquito farting. The smaller the better. You want to make it really, really small and concise because as we referred to the sphincter, it will open up as you blow air. But the default position is with it closed. So when you go to play softly, if soft playing bothers you, you won't have an issue if you do this. So everybody got a mouthpiece? Beautiful. So what you'll see in those packets is a page out of the stamp book, and there's also out of print stamp book, and also some of Jimmy's own handwriting exercises. The exercise we just did is from Poper, is from Roy. What's in there is actually the pattern that we're going to do on the mouthpiece, but I like little small bits when I'm warming up, allegedly. So, okay, so the thing about the mouthpiece, you read in the book, it says hold it with 2 fingers on your left hand, so you're simulating the feel you would have when you were holding the trumpet. So, and you can't use a great deal of pressure. You can get an assistant if you need it. Again, I think I'm funny, so here we go. All right? Or Yeah, you know, class piano, almost passed it. All right, next one. So what I do, and again, this is the mental game. I don't have perfect pitch. I can imagine what it sounds like, but if you're sitting at the piano, I wait until I hear the next pitch, and then I go to that pitch. Now, I believe that each note has to come out of the previous note, meaning if you are blowing at notes to get notes to come out, you need to back it up one step and blow a little bit more through the note you're on. All right? Yep, it was a trick. Listen to the piano. Move when the piano moves. Now, I believe that your lips are a reed. Now, if you look at woodwind players, they almost never mess with their reed while they're playing and goof around with it and manipulate it into a new position. But trumpet players, I watch us all the time. We go lower and we let it all roll out, or we go higher and we get smiley face. I came from how shall we put it, a generation where my teachers just basically screamed at me and said, don't move. You have to move something. Jaw closes from C to C sharp in the staff in order to create more resistance. And I believe you play like a whistler. If you can whistle, your tongue level is directly in relationship to that. Bobby Shu talks about the falsetto position when you go into the upper register, when you get up to the G at the top of the staff. What your tongue does when you do that. All that creates more resistance without having to manipulate your chops. A reed that vibrates freely works real easily. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to go poo-too-too. Ready? Two. All right. Oh, sorry. So the poo is a breath attack. Say M. Blow for what you hear in your head, and then tongue that airstream. And it may not be your normal quote-unquote embouchure. Again, the F word, which we're not going to use here, the sensation you may be having in your lips does not matter, because, you know, it's not, nobody's paying to hear you what your lips think. Here, right? How many of you played the low C in the same position of the high C? Oh, we need more hands, more hands. So that's the goal. Let the air do the work. The thing about playing the trumpet, you know, your teachers always say more air. Why do they say more air? Because your inner sloth goes, hey, I could use these tiny muscles here and just manipulate every single note. And as we all know, if we're throwing rocks at our brother or sister and they run around the house, we can't hit them. If your chops are moving all over the place, you've got a moving target. You're going to miss notes. So let's try that again. Try and blow your way down. You got to blow a lot harder in the low register. That's what the big sheet with the graphics are all about. It's a picture that I really like. You have to blow the same amount of air if you're going to play efficiently the way I play, which is basically connect the dots with the air. So if you look at it, you can blow very short air for a high C, but when you go to a low C, you can't, if you're not blowing to the end of it, it's not going to resonate. So I try and blow to the same spot every time. Okay, here we go. One more time. Poo-too-too. Try and buzz as softly as possible. Almost passed. Now this last one's the best one. It goes. Etc., etc. See how far you can go in one breath. You don't get to stop and breathe in the middle of this. Okay? You just, and it's a goal. Okay? Where are we? Okay. So, right? Good. So what you want to do is push that. That's the goal. Many people play stamp and go, oh, the F word's coming out. The sensation I have in my face is really stiff and horrible. At that point, I go, well, maybe we want to do some buzzing basics, maybe not. My good friend here, the Kellyberg $31 tuba mouthpiece, is something that if I have a really hard night playing in a rock band or something, that I'll use on a Sunday morning just to try and loosen things up. Okay, so we've warmed up our head. And this is vibrating, hopefully. If it's not, there's some other things that we'll talk about in a minute. I don't know what there's no clock in here, so. Oh, good, we got all sorts of time. So the next thing that I'm going to do if I'm doing a formal warm-up is warm up my airstream. If you read in the stamp book, he talks about the 10 big gusts of air. And my students love the 10 painful gusts of air. And the idea is basically to invert your lungs. Okay, you blow until you cough. Don't fake it. So get your horns out. I'm gonna demonstrate it once, and then we'll all do 10 big gusts of air. If you feel lightheaded, dizzy, like you're gonna pass out, then just put the trumpet down, sit back in your chair. We didn't have you sign the medical waiver, so you don't need a mouthpiece. You just need a trumpet. Now, when you go to blow into the trumpet, we don't want to see any puffy cheeks. You just want to blow into the instrument just as if you were playing the instrument. What I do is I take as big a breath as I can all the way down to my seat. Yes, to my seat. There we go. So. Oh, yeah. And we do this 10 times. The idea, other than inducing severe pain, I believe, and getting some blood into my brain cell, is the second half of my lungs, I have to blow. The top third, the top half is free air. If I expand my rib cage and everything, it works real well, but it really gets the air going. So, shall we do 10? We'll just do one, rest a second, two, right? Okay, so you should be driving your navel through your spinal column. Everybody feel the belly button sticking out your back? Good, 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 good. That's the goal. Don't blow from up here. If you blow from up here, well, I'll do that demo in a minute. But so that's 2 for me. That's 1 for you. Oh, geez, I got to do an extra. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and if you got, lung butter, it's coming too. Okay, so that's 2. Having fun yet? All right. There you go. Oh, yeah, this is great. Oh, how about this weather? All right, 4. Starting to sound like a cancer word. Good. Okay. Step 4. Yeah, okay. 5. Ready. 'Okay, halfway there. Four more, huh? Holy crap. Ready? Three. All right. Oh, those omelets from the started to taste pretty good the second time. Here we go. Right. Final one. Ready? Here we go. Oh, Okay, that was fun, huh? All right. So you can do that anywhere. You don't need any apparatus. It'll get your air going. It's my favorite toy. Well, kind of. The thing about your lungs, if you blow from the bottom up, it's a straight shot up. Comes right out the top. So that's why, you know, I breathe from there, I blow from there. You see I raise my chest, I do all those sorts of things as well, because I want to get as much air, and I'm going to use my entire body when I blow. Sandoval, when he came to Santa Barbara in I think '87 right before he moved to this country, yeah, we'll put it in terms of that, he talked about blowing with everything, with your toenails, with the hair on your legs, whatever. Blow with your entire body. Don't limit it thinking, well, it's just here. You just got to blow. And I tell you, I was playing in a club in San Luis Obispo that weekend, and it was just so inspiring. It was just, you know, it was so much easier to play when I blew with my whole body. So the thing about the breathing bag, and this is stole this, all this stuff is just stuff that I've stolen from everyone I've ever worked with or studied with. Penzarella does this whole thing on breathing exercises with the bag. And the first exercise in breathing with the bag is what I call the infinity exercise, the figure 8, where you don't pause at the top of the breath and you don't pause at the bottom of the breath. You're either blowing out or you're breathing in. And so what you do if you want to get one of these is you set your metronome, which I didn't bring, it's on my phone, nah, never mind. And I subdivide, and I hear a G in my head. We always want to take and bring this back to music, and we do 10 breaths in and out without pausing at the top or the bottom. Okay, so we can do this. 3 and okay, so number 5, I stopped for a second. So that I do this 10 more times, and then there's a bunch of quick breath exercises. You can do it with this thing as well. A little bit more civilized than the 10 big gusts of air, but it accomplishes, you know, similar things. Oh, what I was going to show you about blowing. If you blow from your chest, the air has to go down to the bottom, down to your diaphragm, and all the way back up. And you see this thing at the bottom? That's the hernia you're going to have, okay? That's your intestines sticking through your stomach walls. So this is something that I feel very strongly about blowing from the bottom. So that's all I know about air. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, lip, tongue, jaw position. Okay, so depending on what I just found out in my mouthpiece buzzing, I'm either going to do what we did at the end on the trumpet, or I'm going to go, oh crap. And what oh crap means is, well, exactly that. But in there's a bunch of Caruso exercises. There's something about halfway down the page, which are the 6 magic notes. And again, Penzarella kind of legitimized, I'm basically a legit player, believe it or not. And he kind of legitimized the idea of using Caruso to establish an embouchure. One of my students taught me this. This was pretty funny. Eric Iverson, who works at Sony now, he says, well, just say M and blow. Vince DeRosa would always say, just put your lips together and blow, Sonny. One of his favorite things. So the 6 magic notes are basically playing chromatically G to C in the staff with a nose breath. And these are exercises. You may or may not ever breathe through your nose when you're playing. If you're playing the Brandenburg, I bet you will breathe through your nose at some point, so you'd have to take it off your face. So anyhow, the 6 magic notes start with a breath attack, and it's a poo attack, and you just blow. And see what comes out. I'm going to start this. take the nose breath, I'm just pushing my lips together so they're going to touch. No, I can't. Almost use the F word. I don't have the sensation in the center of my lips that they're touching, but the pressure I can sense. So, shall we try the 6 magic notes in B flat? Do not take it off from your face. We'll talk about that in a minute because we'll do the same thing on the with the buzzing basics. Okay, ready? 2, 3. Oh, we had one take off her face. Oh my God. So, the idea is you leave it on your lips. Yeah, it's the penalty phase. It's not really the penalty. I have one in every class. It's great. Is when you breathe through your nose, you kind of roll it in and maybe pull your lips between your teeth. Now, an observation I made looking around the studios when I was in LA was that most of the guys didn't have a whole lot of red showing, the inner part of the lip when they played. And I started thinking, well, what is this? What is the skin? It's not really muscle. I can't kind of flex it, but it's kind of flabby. I don't know what it is. But the muscle, if you look around the edges, you can see the ring of muscle around your chops. That's where the muscle starts. So the further this is away from each other, the harder it's going to be to control. If I was going to paint that door and I put a paintbrush on the end of a 20-foot pole, I'm a crappy painter to begin with, but you get the idea. Okay, so lips as close together as possible. Sphincter, sphincter, sphincter. Ready? Good. Now, we were all imagining what we wanted it to sound like, right? Yeah? No? Maybe? Perhaps? I mean, that's the thing that goes away the very first thing, and I'm going to beat that, until the end of time, because that's what my teacher told me the very first time I went into my first lesson. Hadn't played the trumpet before. I played bugle before that, and George Cable is a horn player in the San Diego Symphony, and he said to me, Ken, you got to hear what it sounds like before you play a note. Of course, in my 7-year-old mind was like, what the? I haven't played this thing. If you don't know what it's going to sound like, make something up. Use your imagination. That's the guide to get you to where you want to go. I can't stress that enough. It's 92% mental. Okay, so I may do those, and then, okay, so they're starting to work. Let's see, should we do, okay. So another thing that I'll do if I'm having a hard time with what we just did, and it happens, I would beat myself to a bloody pulp, and the next day it's like, okay, I didn't warm down, repair work time. You're gonna have a hard time with this. Maybe just pull the lead pipe out, it'll kind of work. Okay, so lose your tuning slide for a minute. Now this is a DiMartino special. This is not mine, but I think this is just brilliant. If you have issues getting into the upper register, it means that your position, either you're not hearing it or something is wrong with the position, either with your lip, tongue, jaw, you're not hearing it, whatever. And one of my students went down to Center College years ago and came back with this exercise that Vince, and then I met Vince like the following year. And what what he does, and you want to loosen your mouthpiece as well, and I'm not sure if this is part of the exercise or this I stole from somebody else, but you're going to find the position where you can play with a breath attack, that you think you could play that all day long. Okay, it's that comfortable, it's that easy. And that is the embouchure, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to use up and down. You're going to try and blow your way down to the bottom. It creates a lot of work to get to the bottom into things. And if you're sloth, my inner sloth, you guys all know about tree sloths? Sleep 23 and a half hours a day, eat for half an hour, and then get up 15 minutes early and, you know, fertilize the tree. My inner sloth is quite strong. My inner sloth will always, the reason I'm still practicing is this sloth goes, hey, why don't we just use this muscle here? I can just manipulate this, and then I'm missing notes all over the place. It's like spraying the walls with, yeah. Anyhow, so, yeah, after a Saturday night. Here we go. So we're going to do that. See what you can do. Okay, so just right, oh, sorry, I have specialized instruction. I've never had to actually do this. See, put it in the lead pipe, so what we want, yeah. So you want your lips to respond to what's going on in the lead pipe, but try it with your face shut to begin with. Just a poo attack, pull it out, put it in, doo-dah, doo-dah. Here you go. And so when I get to the point where this is happening very easily, then I'll start playing up and down on the instrument. So just for grins, let's see where we're at time-wise. Oh, beautiful. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. So on my version of Buzzing Basics, because for some reason the CD got damaged when I put it on my iPod, the first, you can just need your mouthpiece for a minute, and I won't go into the penalty phase. The first one actually does not have the first demo on it, and the first demo is the 6 magic notes that we've already done on the trumpet, but we're just going to do it on the mouthpiece. So you're going to have to hear the pitch above the C's. And it's really important that you use the CD with the Buzzing Basics. And what I use the Buzzing Basics for my own playing, excuse me, Western Omelet, is sound. My sound got better within a year of doing Buzzing Basics, and I noticed that some of my colleagues shall we say, didn't exactly have a sounded more like chainsaws, suddenly started getting a sound, and I didn't know what they were doing. But they started sounding great. I'm going, I got to get this book. When I moved to Interlaken in 2002, that's what happened. Okay, so that's your pitch, and what we want. Da-deen, da-deen, da-da-dum, nose breath, da-da-da, nose breath, na-na-na. But I'll keep playing the drone. Ready? 2, all right. Oh, sorry, got to play it. Bum, ba-dum. G sharp, nose breath. Oh, Maddie, you didn't take it off your lips. Start on the G again. Beautiful. Now put it in the trumpet for a minute. Oh yeah. Oh, it skips that one. Never mind. All right. Yes, thank you, Homer. Blah, 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 blah. So, I know some of you going, we haven't played trumpet yet. This is because I would warm up in the car sitting in traffic in LA. Basically, and they won't arrest you for playing the trumpet or playing the mouthpiece. They may pull you over and think you're doing something else, but it's not illegal so far. So I would tend to do stuff like that. Do a few lip flexibilities. You know, anything you like works well for that. And the next part of it for me is always fingers and tongue. So I will either do Clark's number 1, which is in your packet, or my favorite is Clark's number 2. And I like to do it 4 or 5 notes at a time. I'm going da da dee dum tum tum team tum ta ka ti ka do, and then go on. So it's going to go something like this. If you all know Clark's number 2, if not, we'll do Clark's number 1. It goes. Yeah? Shall we try that? Oh, it'll be great fun. 2. Good. It's the first time that's ever happened. Great. And I'll do that pattern until it works. I usually actually do the exercise in G and then go out, expand out chromatically in terms of that. If you go to the atom part of the packet, it's got basically some Schlossberg in it after the long tones. And if you play the long tones, what you want to think about is the most wonderful trumpet sound you can imagine. And keep your corners firm and blow for that sound and see what happens. The atom stuff is about the middle. It says Daily Routine by William Adam. If you flip in 3 pages, and it's got Schlossberg exercises. So at that point, I may stick in, let's do number 31. And the idea is to get those 2 lines in one breath, okay? Now, that's the first goal. Well, the first goal is to hear what it's going to sound like. Second goal is to get it with the same embouchure. Third goal is to use your air in order to do the said mentioned routines. Shall we try it? Da-dee-dum, 2. All right. Got some good breathers here. We got to go a little faster for the old guy. That'd be me. Okay, next one. 2. All right. Good. Next, it's the same thing. You go open second, first, blah, blah, blah. Right? 2. last but not least, we won't go up to the high E today. It's too early. 2. All right. Good. Turn the page over. Let's go to Schlossberg number 14, and then we're going to back up and do number 13. These exercises, there's some misprints in this one, so we'll just see what happens. Ready? 2. All right. So if you were to do these exercises with a friend, what you would do is one person play it, and the other person play it, and you can warm up practice. I mean, once I've gotten through the mouthpiece stuff, it's really, for me, it's more like I'm practicing at this point. So the main thing you want to keep in mind is, what's the most important thing? Class, what did you learn? Most important thing, sound. Hear what you want it to sound like always, before you play it, while you're playing it, during your performance. Each note needs to be connected to the previous note. So if I'm, if I'm playing the instrument, and I gotta go. I hear where I'm going, what I want that to sound like. Now, if I work on it, it could actually probably sound pretty good. But it's a start, and that's how you learn. It's not you're going to get the magic bullet and I'm going to do this and it's going to get better. It's only 3 things. Hear it, blow for it, lip, tongue, jaw position, in that order. If you find it with your lips and you don't blow, nothing's going to come out. In fact, if you find it with your lips and you do blow, you're going to get a pia. You know what you all obviously hear the PA? You know what I mean? Yeah. You always miss from above, it's never a miss. And yeah, again, I think I'm funny. So, out of all of this stuff, there's countless and countless books that have been written on warming up. This is a collection of stuff that I've put together over my career that works for me. And I don't do one exclusively, well, sort of. I will do buzzing basics pretty much every day on the mouthpiece because I have to ride the stupid exercise bike because I'm old and fat. And I can do that, and I can do my computer, man, it's great. And then the next thing I'll usually do if I have a gig is I'll do stamps. So you have my contact info on there. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Hope it helps. Thanks for coming.